Okay, the time is 6 o'clock. We will call the August 3rd, 2022 Oak Park Board of Education special meeting to order. Ms. Greer, would you please call the roll?
Cochran.
Here.
Alvin.
Here.
Goodfriend. Hoda.
Here.
Klein. Lunkins.
Here.
And Smith.
Here. Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum. The agenda was provided to all of us prior to today's meeting. Without objection, we'll pass a motion to approve the agenda by unanimous consent. Is there an objection to doing so? Seeing none, the agenda is hereby passed by unanimous consent. We'll go to consent agenda. Approval of minutes for July 11, 2022. Approval of personnel actions. So there were two items on the consent agenda, which are the two I just read. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Support. Motion is made by Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lunkins. Is there any question on the motion?
Mr. President, I just wanted to double check something.
Trustee Hood.
Sorry, I just want to double check something. Fine.
Ms. Griffith, please call the roll.
Cochran.
Yes.
Alvin.
Yes.
Hoda.
Yes.
Lunkins.
Yes.
And Smith.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. We will go to item number 4, reports. We have one report this evening with Mr. Angel Abdul-Had. Our superintendent is providing his first report at a board meeting. So, Mr. Abdul-Had.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I just wanted to bring two things to the forefront as we prepare for back to school. I know after watching previous board meetings, we had a masking requirement that was adopted. And so I just wanted to bring that as a discussion on thoughts. I know I have my recommendations and wanted to just get your input on requiring the use of masks versus making it optional where we provide the masking for those families that would like it instead of just mandating that everyone wear it. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up as a discussion item is remote versus virtual, right? So there was a lot of gray area last year with instruction. This year we're going full speed ahead with your blessing, in-person learning. Virtual versus remote. We know there's families that are going to need virtual. And I'm not speaking about that option. That option still exists for families. We have Oak Park Virtual. But if they, before the pandemic, or they enrolled during the pandemic, now we're moving with in-person. Back, in person to each particular building. So those are the two things that I wanted to get your perspective and your discussion on. My recommendation would be to make masking optional in our buildings. If families want to require a mask, we'll support it, we'll provide it, N95 or regular. But if they don't want to wear it, my recommendation is allow families to choose themselves. Your thoughts?
Are there any questions or comments from members of the board? Trustee Cueto.
Mr. Abdul-Had, have we consulted with our district nurse?
So I've not talked to our district nurse. I know I've talked to Oakland County Health Department. And I believe we're only one of 2 or 3. Everyone else has it optional. So we are going to meet with Calandra. I'm going to talk to her to see if there's any concerns. I know right now the focus is on this monkeypox, and we don't know all the details on that, but they've not hinted at anything about COVID being alarming or that they're going towards that direction again.
So
Go ahead.
currently, I was just double checking, I was just checking on the CDC website. Currently, Oakland County has a high community level of COVID infection. Obviously, that's something that changes over time, and what we've been talking about throughout this process is following the recommendations of the CDC and making sure that we provide a safe environment for our students. And while I do recognize that we are an outlier in our county as far as mask use, I also recognize that that is something that's also come from feedback from our families and our parents. So I think making sure that as we're making that decision, that it's a decision that takes into account the guidance from our public health authorities, guidance, input from our families, and obviously guidance from our district's health professionals. Hopefully that will be an important factor as we consider that.
So definitely we'll send out a survey, but I didn't want to send out a survey until I wanted to get your perspective first. Then we'll send out a survey to families and staff regarding the masking requirement. And I'm not saying if a family wants masks that we're not going to provide the support and the things. I am not a proponent of mandating everyone, but I will get surveys out. I just wanted to bring it up here first before I send out surveys and give you feedback. So this is more just discussion, trying to get an understanding of where you stand on that, and then move forward.
Trustee Smith?
Yeah, because we are a district that relies heavily on the support of our district nurse. Is she currently functional right now as the district nurse when school is out, or?
Yeah, she returns August 1st with the staff.
With the staff?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, that's why.
And same with Nicole.
Okay.
So
okay.
our second nurses, we've gotten another year from Oakland County to keep Nicole for another year.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, that basically that was it, because I was trying to find out why we didn't consult with her as well, but. that's it.
Well, they get their guidance from Oakland County Health Department.
Okay, so you.
So if I just work with Calandra,
Mhm.
it's the same thing as a discussion that I'm going to have with our school nurse, who's going to reach out to Oakland County Health Department.
And you mentioned that in your conversation with Calandra, she mentioned that we're one of two districts that is currently.
One of few.
One of a few that's requiring masks. Did Calandra mention what the health division's recommendation is in terms of masking?
I don't think they've adjusted from where they were before, right? So I know they've eased up on the tracking, but I'll reach out to her tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'll just say to your 2 points, relative to remote versus in person, I have no issue with in person personally. But from a mask standpoint, I'd be interested to hear the feedback of our educators and staff, our students, parents, health professionals, before, at least for me, before I'd want to make a decision.
Yep.
As you can tell, other than the fact that I have to speak right here, I'm still wearing mine.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I find myself being the only person wherever I'm at wearing mine. But it is what it is. So I'm going to still wear it. And fortunately, to date, I have not yet had COVID, and I hope I don't get it. And I'd like to think this is in part the reason why. So, in addition to the 4 shots into my arm, so I'll be interested to hear the feedback.
Yeah,
before we
I'll
go
get
to-
that.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Abdullah?
the masking and the remote. I think that's all I had for discussion.
Okay. All right. We are going to item 5, public comment. We come to the part of the meeting where the public has the opportunity to address the board if it so desires. Public participation is one-way communication in which members of the public are asked to address the full board with the understanding that board members will not be able to respond. Trustee Smith, would you please provide the following, the public comment value?
Yes. Because the Oak Park Board of Education values public meetings, not just meetings in public, we welcome public comment on school issues. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due process for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by public comments. The public comment portion of the meeting cannot be used to make personal attacks against a school board member or school district employee that disrupts the order of the meeting and is totally unrelated to the manner in which the member or employee performs his or her duties. Speakers should be aware that statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy. Such comments may result in legal liability. Most comments can be concisely stated in 3 minutes, and the board respectfully asks that comments remain focused on the topic or issue and not be directed at specific personnel or board members.
Thank you, Trustee Smith. And we have one card, I presume?
Yes, we have Mr. Curtis Daniels at 23487 Park Lawn Street.
Mr. Daniels. You might need to give you a seat up here, Mr. Daniels.
Welcome, Mr. Angel Abdullah High, serving up. Angel, Abdul means serving up, man. You gotta serve the community, not serve the kids now. Okay, I'm gonna comment. The first issue was the masking. That was great, thing to look for. So I got a suggestion. Say whatever how y'all do the masking thing. I think you should get let's just say in case of a breakout, monkeypox breakout, or another COVID breakout, has like a bulk on hand to pass out, have some storage, be prepared for in case that was to happen, to be, have a good old warehouse storage of some N95, OSHA, night OSHA masks ready on hand just in case a monkeypox breakout or COVID, just in case, so you can have it pass out to the kids, to the staff, whoever. That's a good suggestion for y'all. Okay. Secondly, you know me, I'm on skilled trades. I would like to see, I passed out flyers previously about skilled trades, that be promoted on the Oak Park Schools website from the Carpenters Union, you know what I'm saying? Definitely for us, I passed it out. I think that information should be afforded to parents, school district, board members, everybody shouldn't have that information. So when a child or adult, young kids, they coming up for graduation, they got career choices, the skilled trades from the Carpenters Union would be there for them. Definitely that. So, that's basically what I want to speak about. It's them skilled trades. And I hope that we can be working with the superintendent and board members, all y'all, with that this year and do some more career fairs. That's about it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniels. Much appreciated.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay. We are now at item 6, information item, Lessons to Early Childhood Renovation Owner Control Contingency Adjustment Recommendation. That is a mouthful. Mr. Abdul-Ahad, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to combine our contingency bucket of money, which allows us to be more flexible. Right now, you're in the negative $53,000 for renovation HVAC contingency on the Lessinger building with city contracting. However, with Braun, you have a surplus of $174,000. Right now, you can't. Even though both of them are contingencies, you have 2 separate pots of contingency. After speaking with Plant Moran, they wanted to give us more flexibility, say we could have one contingency plan, and then that will pay off the $53,000, leaving you with a net of $120,000 for contingencies. And so it was based on a discussion we had, their recommendation. So we said, okay, we'll bring it up to the board as information item, and then if no concerns, then we could proceed at the 8/22 board meeting with taking action on it.
You have a question?
I-
Okay, Trustee Corcoran.
Actually, I remember when they came to the board with the proposal, and we did ask questions in regard to, you know, of course, if they knock a wall down, they might find something, then they will fix it. So when you said the negative 53,000, that's coming from city, I forgot the name, city, the construction.
City contracting.
City contracting. So that negative, how did we get the negative? They found something that they had to like repair, or?
I could get you a breakdown of how they got into that balance of 53,000. So whatever 10% contingency that you had, they've blown through that,
Yeah,
and they've gone for their 53,000.
right, and,
So what I could do is I could get you a report of how they went through that 10%. And then Braun, not only are you under budget, but you have $174,000. And so, you know, of contingency money. So what I could do is get you a breakdown of, here's how they got to that point.
So they're asking to use part of that money?
They're asking and they're recommending that we just make one contingency plan for
Okay.
both of them,
for the project.
for the
itself.
projects. That's right, for Braun and City.
Trustee Smith?
No, I'm fine. I heard what I need to hear.
Is it abnormal to have multiple contingencies for, I should say it that way, one contingency per contractor? Is that normal, or do they not just say, here's the pot of contingency?
But it wasn't presented that way. It was presented to the board separately in August and July of, April 21 and September 21. It wasn't presented that way initially. So
Is there a reason why not?
I didn't dig deeper into why didn't you do it together, one shot?
Trustee Hoyle?
And I think if I'm remembering correctly, part of that was that the bids we wanted to get the bids out as quickly as possible. So the bids for one part of the job went out at one point because we were talking about, there was the initial issue of renovating Lessinger to become an early childhood center. And then once the COVID money came through, then we started talking about doing HVAC work throughout the district and moving the Lessinger job up front so that that could be done then, and then the other elementaries after that. That's my recollection, I don't know if that's
There,
accurate.
from what I'm gathering, because I wasn't here, there's two construction managers, and that's typically the contingencies are tied to the construction manager, so
Okay.
that's why there's two. Typically, no, they would all be together under one project, but it's because of the two construction managers.
Got it.
And has Braun completed their work in terms of the HVAC installations? When we say that they have a lot left in the contingency, is that because they haven't finished their work yet and we don't know what that contingency is
Well,
going to be needed, or is it that they've done the work and they haven't needed it?
So they have not needed it because contingency, right, it's the backup money. So you've not needed it, so they're operating under budget. The other one, you kind of went over your budget.
But what's the status of the HVAC installation
With Braun,
with Braun, yeah?
I mean, it was your owner rep that, from Plant Moran Cressa who made the recommendation. But I will go back and ask them, you know, do they have concerns that we're going to dip into that? But when they indicated that with both of them in paying off the balance, $120,000 was still not a concern to them, because that's still a lot of money as backup. But I will get more information for you on Braun's status.
So,
You should let them come.
Trustee Smith?
so moving forward at our next time that we address this, the motion would be to combine the
Contingency.
contingency.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay, sounds good. All right. We are at 7 which is adjournment, but are there anything from the board before we get to that? Trustee Hoyt.
So we approved a number of personnel actions today, including a couple of assistant principals, band director, deans of culture. I wonder if we could learn more about, I know the deans of culture were internal candidates, which is wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit more about these individuals and who they are, and what for us and the community to look forward to coming back to school and meeting these new people in our leadership structure?
And if you don't
The
have,
only one I know is that you got a new superintendent. The rest, I'll defer back to
Him we've
Carol.
heard plenty from.
Yeah, right. I'll defer back to Carol
Point of
on
order.
that.
So,
there's a point of order.
I just have a point of order. So if we approve the agenda and we didn't move that personnel action over for discussion, it's okay for us to discuss it?
We're not discussing the personnel action items, we're discussing the individuals who we approved. That's different from it itself.
Oh, okay.
So what what I was getting ready to say is if they don't have that now, they can come back and
Okay.
do all that later, but we're not discussing the report. We're discussing people who we approved, particularly,
I was discussing.
And there was a
I was
high
discussing.
profile resignation on there also.
I was
there is,
discussing.
and I'm happy to,
What I gathered, I thought was more tell the community of the new people that they have to look forward to. That's what I gathered from your question.
Yes, well, I'm not questioning it in terms
Yeah.
of
Sure.
whether we're going to approve the addenda. We already have approved the actions. I'd like to learn more about.
Discussion.
About the individuals on this?
so I am happy to share with you that with the Dean of Culture position and role, we certainly look at that as an opportunity for us to grow some of our administrators internally, especially in this very competitive work environment that we're in right now. So there were six Dean of Culture positions we're filling, one for each building. And I'm excited to announce that Adam Carter will be at Key Elementary. Adam's been in education for 11 years and certainly has taken on a lot of key roles as a teacher leader over those 11 years. He's been in Oak Park, I believe, for 9. And this is his first opportunity to serve in a leadership role at the administrative level. Demilla Prince is the OPA Dean of Culture. She has been teaching for 9 years, recently completed her master's, and this is her first role, although she has also been a teacher leader in the district that has really made a name for herself, not just in OPA, but in the district as well. And that's really exciting because we can encourage those folks to try this on as administrators, but also grow them into potentially the next roles. And then we have Angela Cheek Welch, who is newer to Oak Park. Miss Welch, you'll learn, is a wealth of knowledge. She's been in education for over 24 years. She has a master's and an administration certification, and has had some opportunity as an interim, but this certainly is her first official administrative role. We're bringing on board 2 externals. One is Lauren Berkeley. She'll be at the high school. She's been teaching and in education for over 10 years, but 8 of those have really been in leadership roles. She has been the PBIS coach, the reading coach, the MTSS coordinator, the assistant testing coordinator. Everything that rolls into the ball of a Dean of Culture, she has been doing. She just spent 2 years in Panama, where she was an interim assistant middle school principal and also the curriculum instructional coach. So not only does she have the experience in education, she does have experience in leadership, and she'll be at the high school level. And lastly, we are really excited about Nicole. And Nicole is coming from Royal Oak. Her name's Nicole Reynolds. She's been in education, I think, nearly 9 years. For the last 3 years, she has been working as a restorative practice coach, which is a big part of the Dean of Culture. But she also is a trainer in that area. So she will certainly be supporting us and strengthening our own roles as restorative practitioners as she has been training in that area, and comes to us with some great knowledge in that area. We're also really excited about the high school team. As you know, I sent you an email back in February about Sherry Buxeiger. She was hired as an assistant principal. She's been reassigned to be the principal. So Lauren Berkeley will get to work with her. We also have Mr. Sanders still at the high school, but we're bringing on board 2 new assistant principals, Mario Evans, who has experience in the classroom, but in the last 4 years has been a 9th grade assistant principal in the Detroit Public School district. He's also done an athletic internship. He has classroom experience all at the K-8 and 6-8 and high school level. And he brings a calmness and a wealth of patience and experience for our high school kids. And then we have Serena Elderson, who has been in education for quite some time as well. She's had a lot of different roles in education, from training centers to coaching to instructional coaching. She's been a manager of partnerships of schools. She's been a deputy network leader. She's been a district assessment, accountability, and evaluation leader. And then most recently, she's been an assistant principal at a high school in the Detroit Public Schools, and she'll be joining us as well. First thing on the docket, and why we're so excited that they were approved this evening, is we need to get them trained in D+, 5D+ for evaluations. And I'll be holding an in-person onboarding new staff orientation August 18th. So this allows all of them to join us in person.
Thank you, and this was really the reason for us to be here this evening, so I appreciate the synopsis. I was gonna say, if you didn't have it ready, which you do, that we could bring that to the next meeting, but you had it prepared. So I would, you know, as we start to request things kind of in the tail end of the meeting, my hope is that if you don't have it, just bring it to the next one, and we can do that. So kind of take those as those type of requests, so we don't want to put you all on the spot and make you feel like you got to,
Appreciate that.
do that.
And I did know that Mr. Smith, asked about our band teacher who is on this as well. He is ready for band camp. He's eager. He's been working behind the scenes to get things in place, and we welcome him along with everybody on this personnel report. We're grateful for you. I'm grateful, everyone else is grateful that you had this special evening this evening, so thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Anything else from members of the board? Anything from members of the administration? Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's something sitting on our desk. I don't know whether we're bringing this to a next meeting, or I think there was a sense of urgency in regards to Lessinger's grand opening. Are we trying to address that now, or?
That was just information.
Information.
Because I do want to
Doesn't sound
recommend a
definite.
ribbon cutting. That's a little bit
Yeah.
next, but that was just trying to get you some information.
Okay.
It doesn't seem definite yet, so looks like there's some wavering.
Okay.
Yes, Trustee
I
Corbett.
just wanted to know who's behind the drawing behind you.
Yeah.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Somebody got skills.
Very talented.
She's awesome.
I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing at the beginning of the meeting. Somebody got
Yeah.
skills.
That was their last meeting.
It was, but
Yeah.
somebody got, I wasn't paying that close attention.
Yeah.
Somebody got
I
skills.
thought maybe one of our teachers had did it.
That's
Alright.
If
Amanda.
you haven't met Amanda, she's amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else from members of the board or administration? Hearing none. Trustee Smith, the next meeting?
Excuse me.
I got it in front of me.
The next regular meeting of the board is scheduled for August 22nd, 2022.
At 7 p.m.
That's it.
Here in the administration building.
At 7 p.m.
All right.
Just in time.
Without objection, we will adjourn at 6:29 p.m. Is there an objection to doing so?